Hello, hello. Now, with 0.5.3 coming out, of course, as usual, there's been some massive knee-jerk reactions from everyone saying A is broken, A is weak, B is broken, blah 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 blah, or nerfed, OP, all this bullshit. And people haven't really given any time or thought to any of this, they just instantly post their first reaction. A good example is the US carriers, especially the Lexington. Now, what happened to the Lexington was that the 2-1-1 spec, meaning the 2 fighter, 1 torpedo bomber, 1 bomber spec, that spec got nerfed. So on the very first day, literally a day after the patch hit, I was already on Reddit, I was reading this upvoted thread about how US CVs are in a terrible spot, how the Lexington is garbage and how people are selling it and abandoning it, and on the forums it was the same non-stop whining and crying about people abandoning their Lexingtons because the 1-1-1 spec was so weak now, because you can no longer get air superiority with 2-1-1 and be able to strike. So it was a panic and he was crying, he was whining, and I'm like reading these patch notes and I read 30% buff to the damage of bombers and a nerf to the 2-1-1 spec. So instead of any of these guys basically trying out by going to strike spec, meaning 1 torpedo launcher and 3 bombers, they all kept to the spec that was nerfed, and then they cried about how weak they were. And that just blew my mind. Of course, this 1 torpedo bomber and 3 bomber spec is ridiculously powerful. It's absurdly powerful. The bombers have been buffed to insanity. They do an insane amount of damage, and of course, as they're bombers and you got 3 of them, you basically got guaranteed fires at hand on basically any ship you want. So, and the Lexington especially has absolutely insane AA, so you can actually get away. And now I'm not very happy. They strike, we're facing 2 carriers, Lexington and Erie, and they double strike the Ranger. And the Ranger is a potato who's reversing, so he basically gets deleted by the Hiryu alone, which means that the enemy Lexington that is running the same strike spec as I am is now going to go for me. Now, I'm a race against the time basically here. I need to kill him fast. I need to delete him. So I'm basically turning my ship away, and now I'm going to focus fully on this because I need to kill him so he stops issuing orders to his planes. That's the goal here. You saw that? 20k. Yeah, 20k hit, that was 17 plus a 3k hit. So that was a 20k bomb hit on a Lexington. Do you understand how insane that is? That's how massively buffed these bombers have been. I'm making sure I'm even striking him just in case. Yeah, making sure he's guaranteed an. Okay, now he's dead. I've got 3 fires on me, I need to check. Yeah, he didn't have time to give the final order for the torpedo bombers, so I'm able to repair and basically able to save myself. By killing him before he could kill me, I managed to save myself. So even though I was in a 2 versus 1 against both carriers, I managed to delete the Lexington ASAP, and that managed to turn the game around. But you saw that massive bomber damage? This is the ship that they have been crying on Reddit and on the forums about how weak and how nerfed it is. And I'm just rolling my eyes, like the first time I even saw the patch notes, it was obvious that they were buffing this spec immensely, like a massive buff to this spec. And not to mention, it's incredibly fun to play as well, because unlike the more control-focused old Lex spec, this is pure fucking damage. That's what you do, you deal damage, you bomb the shit out of people. And it's also amusingly easy to play, because they've even nerfed the spread on bombers, like when you're under panic fire. Like if your bombers panic, they've even nerfed that radius, so if you're bombing battleships, you'll still hit them even if people use defensive AA, and since you got 3 bombers, you can deal a ridiculous amount of damage to them as well. So I chose this game. This is by far not my best game, and by far not the most damage I've done in a game, but I chose this one because we're facing T9 matchmaking and I'm against 2 carriers, so this is basically worst case situation for a T8 strike spec Lexington, and just basically showing how well this ship does regardless of this basically very awkward matchmaking against me. Now he got deleted, I'm reloading my bombers and everything. Now the question is, I kind of want to go and delete the Hiryu. That would make my life so much easier, but I'm worried about 1, they have a Loyang who's pushing into our cap. and two, they have two battleships that are not being opposed at all and are pushing against us. And the problem when your team starts reversing like this, starts fleeing like this, it's easily a chain reaction. Like they see their teammates fleeing, so they start fleeing. They look to the left, see one guy fleeing, that guy looks to the left, sees the other guy fleeing, and it kind of becomes a chain reaction where your team just panics and shits their pants. So I need to basically stop the rot. I need to stop these guys from pussying out and basically need to make them man up. The best way to make them man up is to blast someone to incredibly low HP. Because one thing you can always count on, I managed to get basically surprise spot this Loyang. I'm hoping I'm able to. Now you saw he turned just in time, so one of the torps just basically activated a second too late. But I'm still detecting him, so he's probably going to get shot at, which will reset the cap a bit. Hopefully. Okay, no one is shooting at the Loyang. Welcome to random battles, I guess. No, someone shot at him now. Okay, but the best way, as I said, the best way to make your team turn around is to give them a low HP target to shoot at. Because if there's one thing the average player loves, it's kill stealing, or well, basically finishing off this low HP. 10k bomb hit, 2 fires, 10k bomb hit. I only hit with 3 bombs. You saw that, 3 bombs, and I did 10k damage to an Iowa. That's a tier higher than I am. And this is the so-called nerfed US cruiser. This is the nerfed Lexington. I really feel nerfed, right? Like really struggling here. Shit, hitting pretty far on the ship this time. Still 11k damage with another bomb strike. That's 20k, over 20k damage in 2 bomb strikes. And now he's low enough and he doesn't have any repair, so basically I don't even need to strike him anymore, because now you see how my team, everyone suddenly started shooting him. They all got horny when they saw there was a low HP target, and that's like the common pub herd mentality, and that's basically how you make your team react. I'm not even going to use this bomb strike on him, just making him turn, and yeah, okay, now my team is finally being useful, so I'm going to see if I can thin out the rest of them now. The Loyang is still in his smoke, so I can't spot him yet. Yeah, he killed, and looks like our team is now actually pushing towards them a bit. We even got a Mayhem inside the cap, which is good. I'm gonna see if I'm able to drop this Pensacola. Okay, fighter engaged me. That's okay, it doesn't matter. Probably still land some hits on it. Oh no! Actually, he got pretty lucky with the dispersion, or I got unlucky, or... Well, to be fair, it was a panicked bomber on a cruiser who was turning as well, so it was gonna be a sketchy drop regardless. Should have probably just gone straight for the zoom or for the guaranteed damage. I'm trying to get my team now to turn away, because this is leaving me in a really awkward spot, because you see that white circle on the minimap? That's my massive detection range. That's how huge the detection range on the Lexington is. And if I'm detected, you can guarantee I'm gonna being shot at by everything. And being boxed in like this in a corner is really bad for a carrier, because you can no longer basically hide out of detection range. And when you're visible, then you always become a prime target. People love shooting carriers. It's so satisfying. I do it as well. I don't blame them. So for that reason alone, I kind of want my team to stop letting the enemy box them in and start pushing out instead. So I'm trying to basically push away this right-hand side that's pushing at us, so my team starts pushing back towards them. Now the Hiryu is harassing me. This was the problem with leaving the Hiryu alive. His fighters might not do much, but they're spreading my torpedo bombers out, and they are slowly killing them as well, which basically does hinder me significantly. Now you see how many planes are dying? They're gonna get the whole squad killed. Now it cost them all their ammo, so actually losing those isn't that big of a deal, because once again the bombs are so strong. Like previously that would have been a disaster, but because this is the so-called bomb spec, losing the torp bombers isn't the end of the world by any means, because your bombs are insane. Now I'm detected, that's what I was worried about. Our Loyang is hiding in J1 in the corner. I have no idea what he's doing there. 2 bombs, 2 fires. I didn't see the damage, looked significant. Is he repairing? It looked like he repaired. You see the fighters ran out of ammo now, I think. I'm waiting for this fighter. Yeah, he ran out of ammo. Now I can manual drop, and he used repair. So I'm holding down Alt, that's how you manual drop, and basically lining it up perfectly so I get as many hits as possible. That's 3 hits, 3 fires, I mean 4 hits, 3 fires. And that's the fire chance on bombs is incredibly high. The Hiryu is now trying to strike spec me, And here you see the reason why the Lexington is able to get away with this strike spec. The anti-air on this ship is absolutely amazing. It's top-notch, the anti-air on the ship. It's that the 3.5 kilometer range anti-air deals an amazing amount of damage, so that's why I'm actually not too worried here. The only thing that worries me is this one fighter squad. Okay, he backed off. He's losing so much HP. I'm gonna wait a second, see what he's doing. Yeah, he's lost so many bombers. I'm no longer worried about him being able to set me on fire, because basically he's gonna die to my AA if he tries to hit me. I got him as a focus target. If you didn't see, even in the ship view you can focus target just by clicking on them. That makes you AA focus on the ship in question. It increases your DPS. It was nerfed a bit, but it still increases your DPS by something like 10% I think now. So it's still worth it to do it. And obviously once a squad has dropped, don't focus them anymore. You want to focus the next one. Once they have dropped their armament, they're no longer important. So here's another thing. Even though basically 2 fighters on the squad, it was still able to hit the hero because of this new buffed, basically the smaller panic range on bombers, which once again makes this spec significantly stronger. Now I know he's used his repair. I'm gonna see if I could get some torpedoes on him. My bombers, of course he's engaging them with everything. This cliff is a bit of an issue. Basically it slows me down since I have to climb up it and down again. Planes basically have to do that shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna get many torps off. Oh, he killed one just that. I'm gonna get a widespread. If he hadn't killed that one, I would have gotten one torp that would have gone down the middle and hit him. But now I got the widespread, so basically by the time I hit him again, he'll have his repair up again. So the good part is he's plane. Oh, he's actually pretty smart. He's landing his planes already and he's sailing away. The idea behind this is by sailing away, it takes me longer for my next planes to reach him, and by refilling his ammo now, he has a chance of basically stopping any additional damage to him, or that's the plan. We're still behind on points, but ship-wise, it's looking pretty good. I have 2 bombers, and 2 bombers is a very potent tool if you know how to use them. I'm surprised that the Zuma lived. I put 3 fires on him and I thought my team would finish him, but apparently not. Oh well, it's time to show you a little trick. A very, very nasty trick. First I gotta group my bombers. I'm gonna make sure my bombers are grouped. This guy, they've nerfed Barrage, so you don't need to be as worried about... Nerfing Barrage is another thing that's basically a buff to this spec. The nerf to Barrage basically makes this spec automatically stronger. Now you see I've selected both bombers, but I'm actually going to strike with only one. This other bomber, you see, I'm only striking with squad number 3, but squad number 4, who's being attacked by the fighter, I'm just going to fly him over. Yeah, you see, I hit him, I got a fire, not a big deal. Now flying this guy over, making it look like it was a strike, and I'm turning away. And you can see the hero instantly repairs, and even his fighters stop shooting me. And that's exactly what I was waiting for. Now I turn around, he still has his armament, and before he can react, he turns back in. Bam, 3 fires. He wasn't panic spread, so now he used his repair, and I juked him into believing my bomber had already struck. That's why he used his repair. But in fact I was still carrying the bombs, so I turned right back around and hit him again. And now he has no repair and he's got 3 fires. Actually, I think I even broke his engine. I could strike him now and finish him, but I'm actually 3 fires. I'm pretty sure he's dead. He's just gonna burn to death. So I'm not gonna waste my bombs on him. I'm sending my torpedo plane that way just in case, but yeah, I don't think he can survive that. It was basically 3 fires with no repair. It's pretty much a death sentence at that HP. Yeah, he's dead. He's burning to death. There's nothing he can do. Arsonist, not unexpected. I'm not really certain what this Mikhail is doing next to me. Like, I could have used him a long time ago to actually shoot down the planes. Like at the start of the game, I could have used this AA. When the hero actually went for me, I could have used this AA. Like the Lexington at the start chunked me really big, then I could have used him, but he's basically covering me now when there's no carriers left. Colorado is actually pretty small. Should I bother with the manual? This should be good. What? Okay, that was actually some interesting RNG. One hit with that manual drop, that little drop right on him. Always gotta be some RNG involved. I'm gonna see if I can get this torp off before he dies. I'm not too optimistic. The Tago is garbage, but it's only one plane. Yeah, he did manage to kill it just before it dropped. We got a total of 3 minutes 30 left, but I'm pretty confident this should be a win. Like, yeah, this Kutuzov is still now. This Kutuzov is now stealing. I stay to protect me. Why would he stay and protect me? I'm undetected. Just like go help kill them. His timing is off. Yeah, the hero is now. I guess it took him a while to process that. I'm telling him what happened because it's good to always learn from your mistakes. Yeah, I'm basically telling him, but on the bright side, he learned something new today, which is always a good thing. Honestly, if I got juked every day and learned something new, I could consider it a success. Jesus, I can't talk. Yeah, I would consider it a success because learning something new every day is how you become a better player. It wasn't actually a manual drop. It was just a unpanicked drop. Manual drop would have been even better there, but I basically wanted the guaranteed fire. Wow, that one bomber guy missed. Now I'm just gonna play it safe and go. I wanted to save this squad for the Atago, but since my RNG is really fucking with me with this Colorado, I decided to use the bigger squad. Yeah, I was about to tell him that I had another squad. Ready. The point with that juke drop that I did wasn't necessarily to straight up kill him like I did there. Getting 3 fires was just really good RNG. The point of that drop was to set him on fire so he couldn't land his fighters, because my next bomber squad that you saw that was already sailing towards him, that was the one I was planning to kill him with. But getting positive RNG didn't really change it in any way, like he would have died regardless. Getting 1 fire was guaranteed with that many bombs, so it was more the fact that next squad would have killed him regardless, so RNG didn't really play an issue there. All it did was save me some bombs. I'm gonna see, can I hit this guy? I'm not going manual because, well, no, really, it's easier to hit cruisers from behind. Basically you bomb them from behind with manual drop. It's easier to get the timing perfect then, and it's also trickier for them to evade. You can see I'm constantly moving at full speed away from these cruisers. I want to be close enough to be able to, so my planes have a short distance to travel, but not close enough that I'm spotted. No, we lost someone. This is very close, this game, honestly. Yeah, this hero shouldn't be comparing himself to Lexington, since he's matched up against Rangers. Yeah, okay, the Udalo died. This is now just a question of mop up. I don't think I'll attempt to kill him, it's 9 seconds left. But this was an example game. Ended up being quite close, and I thought it had some fun aspects in it, like showing off the Lexington AA and the jukes and so forth, and the sheer bomb damage that I thought it made a good commentary with. Even if basically it was pretty nasty for me with my with fighters shooting down my torp bombers and so forth, being against 2 carriers and all that shit. I still thought it was a good example, and you can see the sheer fire damage. The bomb damage is 75k and the fire damage is 87k. Like the bomb, that's bombers alone, like netting 160k damage. That's how fucking terrifying those bombers are now. So this is the nerfed Lexington. I fully understand why people are selling it. As usual, I will start with the modules. Of course, You want to go for the flight control mode as soon as possible. You want to be able to use your basically your hit spec, your strike spec. The default spec is the 111. That got nerfed. Obviously it was 211 in the past. And personally, by far the strike spec is the best. Obviously it's not as good in team ranked, but team ranked is a not entirely different thing, so I won't even go into that. This is all about random battles. So first of all, flight control. This Lex upgrade, it doesn't actually give you any more hangar capacity. It gives you AA, which is nice because, as you saw in my game, AA is pretty much the only thing that keeps you alive, so it's very, very important. And first upgrade is naturally the bombers, since these are your bread and butter. Second upgrade, torpedoes. So basically, and then finally as third, you go for the hull. So priority is get your strike spec, upgrade your strike spec, finally upgrade your survivability. That's the way to go with the upgrades. Modules. Upgrade wise, of course, this one isn't particularly good, but the point is this one is pretty much useless, the air groups mod. It's pretty goddamn useless, so I just go with this to ensure my survivability. And flight control mod, just faster reloading of your strike spec. None of the other make any sense. Like, this one might make some sense, the maximum firing range, but you'd rather be able to strike faster than ensure your survivability. Damage control, since the other two are useless. Here there's some argument you can go for steering gears, because the rudder shift on the ship is quite awkward. But personally I prefer damage control because the Lex is such a massive ship. If someone bombs you or torps you, you're gonna eat some of those torps and bombs regardless. So I prefer to reduce the damage this way. It's kinda optional which way you go. I prefer this one. You might go steering gears if you feel like it. Last one is obviously not optional, concealment. Even with this and the camo, you got 15.2 surface detectability and 13.5 air, so you're very easy to spot. So it's absolute must-have. Now, captain perks. Well, first of all, situation awareness. You need to know if you're spotted. Torpedo armament expertise. Once again, very, very important. 20% servicing of torpedo bombers. It's also better than any of basically all the other ones are useless, so this is by default the best one. Here there can be some questions. You can go for torpedo acceleration. 5 knots the torpedo speed. This affects your torp bombers. Personally, I went for the slightly better survivability with high alert. I mean, this might be better. It's kinda up to you really. Either one of these two anyway. Fourth spec, aircraft servicing expert, of course. You want the survivability and the faster servicing. And finally, air supremacy. Get it as soon as you can. It's so good for this spec or any of these strike specs since you get an additional bomber. This is my midway captain, by the way. That's why he has so many points. I couldn't be arsed getting a whole new captain for this commentary. And finally, ship survivability. 15% away from fire and flooding. Very important. 17th point, I'll probably go for basic firing training. Optionally, 18 might maybe get even fire prevention. It's kinda questionable because it's not a very good perk. But anyway, that was my Lexington spec and my bafflement over why people think the ship has been nerfed when the ship is in fact absolutely fucking broken overpowered in my opinion. Anyway, that's all for me. I'll talk to you at some point. Okay, that was awkward. Right, talk to you later.